All right, so it's been a while since I last uploaded a video, and it's mostly because, but due to personal life. My third daughter was born, which was an amazing experience, but I was kind of focused on being a dad, and now I'm back to recording videos. While I didn't upload videos, I did keep on working on projects and doing automation consulting, and I did a workshop the other day about AI agents and automations and evals. And during the workshop, I realized that people are pretty curious regarding my agentic setup, which skills am I using these days, which MCPs am I using. So I decided to do like this quick recap or quick update regarding what I'm using. It's going to be no fluff. It's going to be only with the top skills and top MCPs that I'm using. Only valuable stuff, so stick until the end. It's going to be a short one, but hopefully valuable. So my skills in MCP Stack. So first of all, I'm using Open Code. I'm not using Claude Code. I feel that Open Code is way better and way more fun than Claude Code. I started using it approximately 4 or 5 months ago, and I was on the fence for a while because I was using Claude Code, and I said, okay, why not use Claude Code? Why use an open source project if anyway it's obvious that the Anthropic team are going to steal any good idea and incorporate it into Claude Code? But after speaking with enough friends of mine that I value their opinion, I decided to give Open Code a go and haven't looked back since then. I don't even consider going back to Claude Code. I feel that it's an inferior product in comparison to Open Code. So if you haven't made the jump or the leap of faith to start using Open Code, I highly recommend that you do. Obviously, there are many customizations that you can do. And it depends on your context and your workflow and your tech stack. But in general, I feel that Open Code is way better than Claude Code. I'm running it mostly locally, but I also have like a $4 or $6 per month server deployed on Hetzner, so I can do things in the cloud. I mostly use Opus 4.6 almost all the time with extra high thinking effort. I never really adjust the thinking effort. I'm on the $200 plan. I did a switch to the $100 plan for a while because I used also Codex heavily, but then I didn't enjoy being limited. So sometimes I switched to using Sonnet 4.6, but eventually I feel that 4.6 Opus is way better, so I use it all the time. If I want something like really fast, I will switch to Haiku. I don't mess around with DeepSeek or all the Chinese models. What I do, make a point to what I do often do is I have an MCP for Codex and I have an MCP to Gemini, and I spin those as adversarial agents. So let's say I write a plan with Opus 4.6. I will send this plan via MCP to Codex to get an opinion, and I will also send it to Gemini. Very seldomly. I don't use Gemini often for this in order to get a third opinion. So this is very convenient. If I kind of want to check out what are like the leading models in terms of what are people using, I just come to OpenRouter to the rankings page, and over here I kind of get like feels that I get up to date about what people are using, whether or not there is like an LLM that I'm overlooking. So over here, if you don't know, this is the OpenRouter website. OpenRouter is just an aggregator of many models. So this is basically a router, an open router. And you can see over here what people are using. The fact that people are using so many tokens of DeepSeek v4 doesn't make it superior, because it might be cheaper or might be faster. So you should take that into account as well. You can see the market share based on different companies. You can see many aspects. So what are the languages being used? I don't know why it's so slow. what are the leading apps. So at the moment you can see Hermes, Kilocode, OpenClaw, OpenClaw Test, Descript, etc. So this is it in terms of models. A few more MCPs that I constantly use are, first of all, let me switch back to here. So this is OpenCode. It's in the Warp terminal. So these are the MCPs that I'm using. I mentioned Codex. I mentioned Gemini. Another benefit of using Gemini is that you can do like a tool call to the LLM to generate an image. So instead of going to the Gemini interface, you just send a request via the MCP to generate a certain image based on prompt, and it generates an image, stores it locally. Besides Codex and Gemini, I sometimes use Excalibur just to generate diagrams. I don't use it as often. I need to remove it, to be honest. I'm using Playwright all the time. Playwright with the Playwright MCP bridge connects to your browser. The benefit of it is it connects to your logged in browser. So it can very easily take actions on behalf of you. So it can fill forms, it can interact in your LinkedIn or Meta or Reddit accounts while you are logged in. And this is very amazing and very useful, especially for doing like growth hacks. I did a video a few days ago, or not even a few days ago, a few weeks ago, about a lead generation flow that I use Playwright in order to scrape Upwork job listings, and then I use Bright Data in order to enrich them. So Playwright is very, very valuable for browser automation. I especially like the fact that you can use the headful Chrome and work on your logged in browser. This is very powerful. Besides Playwright, I mentioned it a few seconds ago, I constantly use the Bright Data MCP and sometimes also the Bright Data CLI. For those of you who don't know, Bright Data, I just wanted to switch because I didn't want to expose the API key, but I'm going to rotate it anyway. But Bright Data is a tool for it's an infrastructure layer for scraping websites. It provides you with proxies. It provides you with capabilities to bypass CAPTCHAs. Basically, it takes care of everything that you need in order to scrape at scale. You just need to connect to the API endpoint. It's very, very valuable. The reason that I use it in OpenCode is mostly when websites that I try to extract data from are guarded by Cloudflare or some form of a anti-bot mechanism. I just use the Bright Data MCP, and it usually very easily fetches what's on that website for me. It can also scrape the search engine results page. So this is very valuable as well. As you saw, while I'm recording the video, I'm actually also preparing the next video, which is about using Bright Data and scraping ChatGPT with Bright Data. And the result that you saw was a result of a scrape that I conducted. Usually, I request OpenCode to generate an HTML of findings because I don't love reading Markdown files. So very often I like to visualize it. Let me go back to the presentation. So I said I use Bright Data heavily, and I'm going to upload a video soon about how I use Bright Data for SEO purposes, specifically for scraping ChatGPT results. Now, in terms of skills, I have many of them. Whenever there is like a sequence of things that I often do, I just create a skill. But some of them are more useful, some of them are less useful. Specifically, the most useful skills that I have at the moment is a triple review skill, which basically I created an HTML over here. So triple review, what it does, it spins 3 independent adversarial reviewers in parallel, each with different critical lens. They never see each other's work. Findings are then merged, deduplicated by confidence, and returned as a single prioritized action list. So it goes something like this. Always I have like the conversation, and then I say triple review or review this or get feedback, and it's going to dynamically spin three different agents. One is going to be a skeptical reader. Another one is going to be a domain expert, and the third one is going to be target audience. So for example, for my product, which is called Rospig, and Rospig is a marketing automation platform for creative teams and media buyers. When I spin the triple review, it's usually going to spin three different agents. One of them is the potential buyer, let's say a CMO or a media buyer or a head of growth, to provide like feedback about my idea. The second is going to be a developer to provide observations and suggestions regarding the feasibility of the feature that I proposed, what can go wrong, etc. And the third one might be like a business guru, like Alex Hormozi or Tim Ferriss or Naval Ravikant, which is going to provide like a more high-level suggestions regarding the new feature. Now, as I said, it's dynamic, so the LLM, based on the conversation, the LLM is going to decide which reviewers is going to spin. And this is like the workflow. So artifact or the conversation, then we have three different reviewers, then we merge and deduplicate, we prioritize, and we provide like different tasks based on priorities. Fix before you ship, should fix, and nice to fix. Now the key rule, if all three reviewers flag the same issue independently, it auto-promotes to highest priority. Max 15 finding total. If reviewers find problems only, no fixes, no suggestions, they only find issues. The next skill that I use often is the stress testing, which, as you can see, the common thread over here is I use the agent as somewhat of a co-pilot that is going to be like provide criticism to my thoughts. In this skill, which is called a stress test, it's basically a 5-phase sequential review panel. Each phase attacks from a different angle, find flaws, imagine failure, argue their position, find contradiction, and then it synthesizes everything into a verdict with clear priority tiers. So what it does, it basically has a few phases. First phase is the adversarial review. It finds every flaw, every unstated assumption in the plan. Then we have a pre-mortem analysis, which basically says 6 months from now, this failed, explain what went wrong. Then we have the steelman, basically argue the strongest case against this approach with real conviction. And these are like three different agents so far. Then we have a contradiction hunt, which finds where stated goals conflict with actual decisions. And then we have the verdict. And the verdict is categorized like with must fix, should fix, worth knowing, and just noise. And the core philosophy or the guidance for the agent is do not be constructive, do not hedge, just source everything to specific files and rank by impact, not count. A single critical flaw outweighs 10 style needs. So it's very important for me to get like the higher, like a priority based on impact and not focusing on the tactical stuff. It's more like a strategy thing, this skill. The next skill is more of a tactical one, but it's very useful. It's called the closed session skill. So basically, every conversation that I have, I rename, and then I create a GitHub repository for that. I will have it also locally and also have it remotely in the cloud within GitHub. What I often do is when I'm about to finish the session, I just hit the close session skill. And what it does, it updates the repo's memory system. I have the agent MD file with like the purpose of the agent, the architecture, the decisions log, etc. It's going to update that. Then we have a learnings file, which basically has all like the gotchas and takeaways and the things, lessons learned from this session that might be relevant for upcoming sessions related to this repository, to this project. Then we have a tech debt markdown file, which contains like known debt items, added and resolved stuff over time. And then we have a handover subfolder, which contains handover files, which is basically information that we would like to have handy in the next session that we are working on when we are working on this project. So it kind of summarizes this session and tells me or the agent what we need to do in the next session. And the cool thing about the close session skill is that it can spin on demand when I hit the close session command, or it also spins automatically as soon as I close an open code session. It knows to reopen that session in the background, hit the close session command headless, and then it closes the session even if I didn't explicitly close the session. Why this matters? Obviously because AI agents start each session with zero context. This skill encodes the session knowledge into a repo committed file, so the next session starts informed. And the handover file, as I said, is the single most important artifact for continuity. Now, for the last skill that I'm using all the time, is a it's a GitHub Issue Writer. So basically what this does, we maintain our project in GitHub using GitHub issues, kind of similar to Jira or Linear or whatever. Now, the thing I like about this GitHub Issue Writer, it's a skill that whenever I encounter a bug or we have a suggestion from a design partner or from a user, I just come and I write what was the expected behavior and what was the issue. And it's going to construct the issue in a better manner. So what it does basically, I describe the issue. We check, the skill checks if we have a repo already. If we have a repo, is going to create an issue, and it's going to add it to the project. It's going to assign a priority or a sprint, whether it's a blocker, high priority, medium priority, whether it should be assigned to someone, etc. And the issue structure is always maintained, it's always the same, and this is the cool thing about this. So first of all, it starts with the source attribution block word. So for example, this was a suggestion from a design partner. Then it provides like an overview in the overview section. Then it shows like a requirement bullet, and then it has like a consideration section, and it keeps everything very concise and scannable. And like to make it even more useful, what I did is I built a screen recording, a snapshot automation. So this is a native screenshot tool in Linux, which I can just add, I can annotate 1 issue, 2 issue, 2, etc. I can do whatever I like, But the greatest benefit here, or the layer of automation that I added, is after I accept the capture, I'm getting this menu, which Open Code created for me, and I have 3 alternatives. If I click copy image, it's going to copy the image to my clipboard. If I click number 2, it's going to save the image locally, and it's going to save the path to the image in my clipboard. And if I click free, it's going to upload the image to IMGBB, which is a website for free image storing. Let's click it. And then when I paste something from the clipboard, it automatically is going to show me the link to that saved image. Now, why this is useful? Because when I create the GitHub issues, I just paste this image, this link to the image, and then we have evidence from the UX for myself or for my partner who builds the platform. Obviously, it makes the issue way easier to understand and comprehend when you also have like this image, visual representation of the image. on the issue. So let's see, I think I went over everything. Close session, GitHub issue, including a customized screenshot automation. Yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm planning to go back to recording videos more often. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my newsletter about AI agents, automations, and just AI updates with no fluff, make sure you go to nofluff.online, subscribe. I just send like one email per week, sometimes even every other week, so it's not going to spam your inbox, and I try to keep it concise and valuable. I guess that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, obviously like and subscribe. Leave your comments below with any ideas or any skills that you found useful, or skills that you're using that I didn't think about. And until next time, keep on automating.